Welcome to episode 20 of the Sober Stretch podcast, the podcast for anyone with a problematic relationship with alcohol. Are you a binge drinker? Are you a morning drinker? Do you drink too many glasses of wine with your dinner? Whatever it is, we are here for you. My name is Gary. My fellow host even, friend is Craig. We're both former alcoholics, sober for 10 years and 2. How you doing, mate? You all right?
Yeah. All good, thanks. You?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm not bad. I'm dreading later. United reference. Get it out of the way.
I knew you were going to say that. I was thinking I'm going to say something, and then you said it, so fucking sweet.
We're United fans, you bastards. Yeah, let's get rude in. But yeah, I'm all right. I'm okay, thanks. I'm working later, and yeah, not bad. What's new?
Nothing really. Nothing. Just been hitting gym and running really. Since I've got back off holiday, that's what I've been doing.
Nice.
Quite content actually. I'm quite content. I'm happy to be content. I don't feel like I need to have loads of shit going on these days.
That's interesting. Happy to be content. It's almost like a recognition that you can't be happy, but you do enjoy the contentment when it's kind of sets in.
Yeah, man. I love it. Do you know what I love to do is just fuck myself up during the day, get shit done, and then feel exhausted in the evening. Sounds weird, but that's a dream for me.
No, but that's healthy exhaustion, isn't it? It's that healthy,
yeah, man,
sense of achievement.
Yeah, mate.
It's mild fatigue, and your work, it's
just nice to get stuff done on the weekends, like instead of just. I mean, obviously do still remember, but instead of getting shit done on the weekend, I'll actually make more work for myself by fucking shit up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then have a meltdown on Monday. So yeah, no, I'm content.
That's nice. Yeah, contentment is. I think contentment's about as good as it can get. You can't really ask for any more than that, because like the idea that happiness is just you're going to just have some orgasmic, happy life every minute is just bollocks. And so many people search for that, don't they?
Yeah, it doesn't exist, does it? It doesn't exist.
No, because when I was drinking, I was like, I just want to be happy, and then I realised when I got sober, I just wanted to be sane and relatively calm and sometimes happy.
Yeah.
I took what was on offer when I got sober. I was like, oh, okay, this is it. And it's that whole, I don't like being sober, it's boring. I was the opposite. After a while, I was like, oh, this is peaceful.
Oh, mate.
It's not nearly as chaotic. Oh, this is great. That's how I felt.
Mate, I fucking love peace. That sounds weird, doesn't it? I love peace, but not like, peace, man. But drama free, chilled out, do what you want. Beautiful.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. From I got asked. Someone asked me recently, how's life different? And as a sober person, I was like, it's chaos, no carnage to calm.
Yeah. That's a good analogy.
Like, fuck it. So boredom is nice now and again. I can live with it.
Maybe it's just because we've literally not had it since the age of 14. We've never had a non-self-destructive life, so now we appreciate it.
Yeah, I would agree.
Simple things.
Do you know what? Before we get going on the topic, I was thinking about my university days the other day. I'll tell you why. On Friday night, I walked down to the beach just to get some fresh air, and I started thinking, and I sent my best mate audio on WhatsApp, and he was one of my main partners in crime in the early days, and it just got me thinking about the first few months of uni and how I kind of got to uni, and I'd already had about a year of nasty drinking, and I had acknowledged in my own head it was becoming a problem. And I started uni in '99 in September, and by Christmas things were so out of control. I didn't recover until I got sober. I didn't recover from the mental chaos that was my life. I got to uni, I had the influx of cash, I was depressed. I was determined to get to uni so I could get smashed every day, because I thought it was just the right escape. And that just set the tone. And I didn't have any kind of peace, contentment, and calm until I was about a year sober.
And you wonder why you're fucking depressed.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
stressed.
15 years of just pure heightened everything was like on a knife edge, you know?
It's mad, isn't it? Isn't it mad? And then did you get them days where you just felt absolutely overwhelmed, where your brain was just trying to deal with shit from years ago,
When?
when you in your early days of sobriety? So like
Oh yeah, like
months,
feeling
year after.
emotions. Yeah, feeling emotions in a raw way. Yeah, yeah. That. Well, I mean, we talk about it a lot, but the first year was. Oh, it's like being in a washing machine, isn't it?
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's pretty daunting, but healthy.
Yeah,
Healthy.
yeah.
Just quick. No one judged me for drinking coffee out of this mug. I know it's fucking dead, but everyone's got to have one of them in their cupboard.
Don't spill it, otherwise you'd be like
Oh, in
swimming
it.
in your living room.
Fuck me. Need a snorkel to clean it up. So today we are going to talk about the functioning alcoholic. Does it exist? Is it a load of bollocks? I personally have no idea how anyone could be a functioning alcoholic, just from my experience, just because I was good to absolutely no man, nor I was just fucking useless, mate. Fucking useless. I probably couldn't tie my shoelaces, mate. Like, let alone do my job or function anyway. So that's my experience on it. I personally couldn't function at all, and I don't think you could either, by the sounds of it.
No. Well, let's just maybe just explain a little bit more. So I think today it's the myth. Well, we got a message the other day from someone that listens to our podcast and shares it, Victoria, whose account is called Vesta Approach, and she suggested that we talk about the myth of a functioning alcoholic. So shout out to Victoria for the topic choice. And I think it is a myth. That's the thing, isn't it?
I guess so. It well, someone's made it up, haven't they? Someone has basically, somewhere along the line, someone said you're an alcoholic, and he or she has gone, "No, I can't be, because I've still got a job and I still earn money and I've still got kids." So they're like, maybe I'm a functioning alcoholic.
Mm-hmm.
Do you reckon?
I think that's exactly what it is. I think the idea of a functioning alcoholic is an alcoholic that goes to work and just about keeps their shit together.
Yeah.
And when I say just about keeps their shit together, I mean is able to get dressed, washed, and rock up to work at some point in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's all to do with working. That's my opinion. I think if you're holding down a job, no matter how badly you're doing it, people will think that, oh well, he's all right because he gets up and goes, oh she's all right, goes to work every day. But
Yeah.
you know, there was no high end functioning really in my life when I was drinking. It was just pure hanging on for dear life and trying to blag my way through each day.
There's one person that springs to mind. Obviously, I'm not going to fucking mention names, but I know of someone who is extremely successful, like extremely successful businessman, but will still need booze to function. So that's probably the sort of person that we're talking about, yeah. Fair fucking play. I don't know how they do it. I really don't. I think if you need to have a couple of drinks to be at the peak of your game, you're just an alky, aren't you?
Yeah,
Are you
blunt as
not?
ever. Yeah, it's true though. Yeah, it's like that. I think the thing about a quote functioning alcoholic is that they don't think they're an alcoholic. Maybe other,
Denial.
yeah. There's definitely there's a. It's like, oh, I can meet my daily obligations, therefore I can't be an alcoholic. Alcoholics live under a bridge.
Yeah.
But what about your daily obligations? How are they suffering? How are you unable to fulfill them? How many people and how often do you let yourself down? You know, how many people do you let down? How often do you let yourself down? Is that functioning? Like, what is functioning? Functioning should be like carrying out your normal daily tasks and obligations with relative success without needing to drink.
Yeah. No, I agree. I just started smirking. It weren't because of what you were saying, but it just I just thought of something. I said to my pal once, Harry, who I was living with, and I said to him once, I was like, "Do you think I'm an alcoholic?" Like, expecting him to be like, "Nah," because he's my mate. Do you know what I mean? And he was like, "Yeah." I was like, "What the fuck? What do you mean, yeah?" And he was like, "Mate," he was like, "You are you are literally, what's the word? I forgot the fucking word." But he was
Like,
like, "You are literally the definition of an alcoholic." And I was like,
yeah,
"Fuck me."
archetypal.
I was
Yeah.
like, but if he didn't tell me that, I never would have questioned it. Like, of course, I'm a fucking full blown alcoholic. I'm drinking in the mornings and shit. But I still, because I had a job and because I'd make it in 3 or 4 days a week, and I earned all right money in sales, I thought maybe I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
You have in your head an alcoholic is someone that's fucking lost everything and down and out, blah blah blah. But I suppose that's just how it starts, isn't it? Maybe you start off as a functioning alcoholic,
Yeah.
and it will fucking take everything at some point. Whether it's your money, maybe you are still successful being an alcoholic. Maybe you are one of the lucky ones. However, it's gonna fucking eat away at your liver and your health and shit like that. So you're still an alky, ain't you? Everyone's gonna hate this episode because it's gonna call out so many people, and so many people are gonna question themselves.
Well, the people that are going to hate it are going to be the people that really need to hear it, and the people that hear it and think, "Oh yeah, I fall in that category." It might do them some good.
Yeah,
We are as I mentioned last week, that one of my followers says about me. You and I are a tell it like it is service.
yeah,
So it was interesting what you said about functioning to a point, isn't it? It's like it starts off,
yeah,
and it all starts somewhere, and perhaps at some point you are a functioning problematic drinker,
yeah,
and then slowly the very definition of alcoholism creeps into your life, and it's hanging on by a thread, isn't it?
mm-hmm,
Like you say, though, there'll be successful, wealthy business people, whatever, any type of
yeah,
person that holds it together. But that's an external appearance, isn't it, of holding it together? But like you say, liver might be failing, or liver might be, getting
exactly.
damaged. Blood
And they might
pressure.
go home and cry themselves to sleep every fucking night. But
Yeah, who knows?
from the outside, like you said, they look like they're holding it together. But I'm telling you for a fact, someone that needs to drink to function is not happy, because it's not a nice feeling addicted to anything. Like, that's like the worst fucking feeling.
Yeah, and yes, absolutely. And that's how I felt in my 20s when I started working. Once I'd left uni, and life got real and scary. I said earlier about uni. I remember my first few weeks, even at uni. I'd arrived at uni, and I wasn't in the best of mental states. And I remember lying in bed at nights, worrying about my finances already, and thinking, "This can't be right. Like, I'm 19. I'm not. Why is this what adulthood is?" I couldn't believe that this had landed in my lap,
Yeah, but
and I was, and I couldn't get my head around it.
that's another thing as well, though. Like, you're 19, you haven't grown up at all. You haven't, have you? Because you've always drunk to kind of numb your problems and stuff like that. But it is very daunting, whether you're a man or woman, or a boy or girl, and you step into adulthood, unless you're educated on alcohol, you just think it's the normal thing to do, but you're not prepared for adulthood in any way, shape, or form. You've lived, let's say for an example, you've lived with your parents your whole life, then it's finally time to make that big fucking change. Booze is so easily accessible, so it's kind of like not your fault in a way. Do you know what I mean? Because you're not equipped to deal with the problems without booze, and that's why I feel like so many people actually become dependent on it, because it's always been there.
Mm-hmm.
They have no education on it about how it can make things 10 times worse.
Yeah, and I think as a culture in this country, because we start drinking quite young, I know that it's changing, but let's say our generations and those that came before us, suddenly you are using alcohol as a weekend crutch, maybe, to
Yeah,
escape reality. And that might sound extreme, but if you are struggling with life or finding work hard, or you've had a bit of a relationship crisis on a Wednesday and it comes to Friday, what is the normal thing to do? It's to just have a blowout and get battered, or at least find some kind of solace in alcohol. So in our cases, it was very extreme, and then we find ourselves in our mid-20s, like head spinning, don't really know how we've gotten ourselves into this
yeah,
position. But there'll be other people listening who will have got to 25, and maybe what started for us very young started for people at 25.
yeah.
Not everyone starts being dependent on alcohol like we were young.
No. Well, I think things are changing now because of things like social media and Xboxes, PlayStations, and all that kind of stuff. I feel like people don't grow up as quickly these days. So when they finish school, they might go home and play their Xbox or go on their iPad. I don't know, whatever, because there's so much shit to do. Whereas I know you're a bit older than me, but when we were younger, after school on a Friday, it was go down the park and get fucked up when we were 14.
Yeah, it's weird. I think I
I
would
don't
say
really
maybe.
see kids drinking in parks anymore. We used to
Pardon?
have, like, I don't really see like kids drinking in parks and that anymore. But we would have literally like near enough the whole of the year down there, mate, getting
Yeah,
like
yeah.
2 litre bottles of cider and that, mate. And
2020.
yeah,
Merry Down. Merry Down? Merryweather? I don't know. Yeah,
I
that
used to drink Woodpecker because it was like £2 a bottle, maybe
is
cheaper. But then,
Woodpecker, never White Lightning. Woodpecker was just about drinkable, wasn't it? What
yeah,
a Woodpecker, what a refreshing change. I remember the advert.
yeah, I used to think that was premium, drinking out a 2 litre plastic bottle.
Oh God.
Um,
Sad. But
but it,
that no, go on.
I was gonna say a point that I wanted to say earlier, when like how the process all starts is when you're younger in your early days, you can still function the next day. I don't know why that is,
Mm,
but everyone seems to say hangovers aren't the same anymore. I can't do it like I used to, and because the hangovers get worse, the withdrawals. A hangover is withdrawal, yeah. So because the withdrawal gets worse when you get older, you're so much more inclined to just get straight back on it. And that's literally how the cycle starts, isn't it? More
mhm.
responsibilities, more stress when you get older. Oh, just give me another fucking drink.
Yeah. And access to it as well when you're older. You know, you don't live at home. You don't live with your parents. You do have your own element of disposable income before you had to pay all your mates back and
Yeah,
take the check down to the payday loan company. Um, I think once it creeps up on you, yeah, you're right. It goes from functioning, like quite literally, to really not functioning. You know, because
yeah,
it's like the it's like the hidden consequences, isn't it? That only you know about. But there's an external perception that you're okay, but inside you know full well you're not okay, and all these things are starting to slip through your fingers. You know,
yeah,
friendships, money, progress, career opportunities, and it's just, you know, you're like a sieve, and the booze is just allowing it all to fall through, and you're missing out on everything.
yeah. I don't think there's such thing. I think functional alcoholic is just, or functioning alcoholic is just something that it's kind of like between fully fledged fucking dependent alcoholic or fully fledged drink problem
Mm,
to just like you said, teetering on the edge. They're not quite that bad that they need a fucking drink at all times.
mm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Because not everyone. The idea that you're not an alcoholic because you don't drink in the morning like we did is just bollocks. You know, what are the consequences to your drinking? The consequences you're drinking. I mean, the list could be very long. The list was particularly long in our cases because of the amount we drank and with the frequency and the time of day and the dependency. But there are plenty of people who only drink in the evenings, and the consequences are also grave. You know,
Yeah,
so this episode ends up turning into a. If you're listening to it, perhaps right. This is your decision time. Are you? Are you not? Are you
yeah,
functioning? Really? Like what?
yeah,
What's the crack? Really, in your own, deep in your own heart.
yeah. And again, not preaching at all, not trying to call anyone out and shit like that, because it's quite an uncomfortable thought, isn't it? I like when my mate said that, of course I was an alcoholic. I was like, yeah, fuck off, mate. You don't know what you're talking about.
But did you know it deep down? Really?
Yeah, mate. Yeah,
Yeah.
just didn't want to believe it.
Mm.
But
It's like,
fucking course I am.
well, it's like there's like a little. It's a little. It can be a long drawn out mind game of denial and flirting with
Yeah,
acceptance, and then going back to the denial, depending on how the drinking is fluctuating, and maybe you meet someone that you maybe fall for, and you maybe drink a little less because you know that they're not going to accept your true drinking, so you fight it. But then after so many months of comfort with that person, I'm talking from experience here, on a lot of occasions, like having to conceal the amount of drinking, and then I forgot what point I'm trying to make, but ultimately it's just a big fat lie, isn't it, to yourself?
yeah,
The sooner
yeah,
you
yeah,
just rip off the plaster and go, right, I've got a problem.
yeah. It's as uncomfortable as it is. It's the best thing that you can do, isn't it? Like I don't feel like there's. You go to you sign up for a new doctor's, yeah, and you have the questionnaire. How much alcohol do you drink in a week?
Mm-hmm.
I would lie on them every time, and I would say that I have like 8 drinks a week. Really, I would do that on a Wednesday. Not that I'm proud of it. It's fucking sad.
Yeah.
But even when I'm lying, like saying that I drink 10 times more, they would still say, yeah, you need to cut down your alcohol. I don't
Yeah.
I don't feel like there is a limit or there is an exact number to label yourself as an alcoholic, or maybe not alcoholic but problem drinker, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I just feel like if you feel the need to have a drink every time you get stressed, whether it's 1 drink, 2 drinks, that's not healthy. So that really is a problem.
Even thinking about having a drink and then not having it is a problem, indicates there is a problem.
Hmm.
Because alcoholism is drinking, thinking about drinking, recovering from drinking, looking forward to the next time of drinking, promising you're never going to drink again. That is what alcoholism is, isn't it? It's all of those things.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, what were the hidden consequences in your life that showed that the idea of a functioning alcoholic is bollocks?
I don't think there was any hidden consequences, to be honest. I think
Okay.
everything was quite transparent.
Mm.
But when you say consequences, do you mean like how it like affected me?
Yeah, I mean, what in areas of your life like family, friendships, work, health,
Everything,
how was it
everything,
impacting you?
everything. So the the stress of basically on my mind every time I was in a situation where booze wasn't accessible, I would feel extremely uncomfortable and anxious because the thought of me being anxious and then not being able to have that instant fire extinguisher, as I'd call it, to put the fire out, scared the fuck out of me. So, so, so when I got my hair cut, yeah, I'd think, oh my god, what if I need a drink? Or if I was in a work meeting, that would make me fucking melt down, mate. I'd be sweating because I'd be like, what if I need a drink? Family meals, not wanting to, because my mum obviously would.
Mm.
My mum's dad was an alcoholic, so she didn't like to watch me drink. But then I'd worry about that.
Mm.
But I needed to fucking have a drink. Do you know what I mean?
I remember that feeling, man. Family gatherings and like, oh no, I'm not going to be able to drink as much as I need and want to.
This is me, unfortunately.
But I'm going to do it anyway and risk the wrath of my parents.
Yeah.
Mum, probably more likely the next day. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that was huge. My health. I mean, I bottled everything up. So me going for a fucking blood test when I was like that, absolutely no chance. I do not want to know. But as you can see on my Instagram, not going to sugarcoat it. I was a fat bastard. I couldn't run. I tried playing five-a-side football. Milk turns quicker than what I did. I couldn't move really. Could walk, but running shit like that, no chance. Get out of breath walking up the stairs. So it's fair to say my health would have been absolutely fucked. Relationships, non-existent. My only relationships were booze and drug fueled. Without that, there was no relationship. A few of my friends, one in particular, once told me, he was like, mate, what the fuck are you doing? So my friendships were falling down. I moved to a halfway house, got kicked out from a halfway house. How was that possible? So it's fair to say the consequences were fucking huge. Oh yeah, not to mention that I kept getting sacked from jobs and stuff like that because I couldn't get out of bed on a Monday morning. So the consequences weren't hidden. They were very, very, very transparent. I could not do nothing.
So perhaps the idea that we were functioning alcoholics was to other people just nonsense, or because it was the time it was. Okay, you've only recently stopped drinking, but I think back to maybe like the early 2000s and even the late 90s when all my mates started to earmark me as someone that was an absolute head case after a certain amount of beer, drinks, whatever. I think what I'm trying to say is if you take us as examples and you listen to us, there is the fear that other people will be like, well, I'm nothing like these two were. There will be people that feel like that, but there'll be other people that be like, well, I'm nothing like these two fuckers. And then they might feel that they can maybe wash their hands of it a little bit, but that is either another lie to yourself or it's creeping up and it's going to come. You know, you have to. It's just about admitting it because the denial and the justification is another element to the myth, I think.
Yeah, you can't go through your whole life escaping it. It's not going to happen. I really don't think it's going to happen. And we're definitely not trying to say that everyone who has a drink is an alcoholic. Literally, far fucking from it. If you get caned once in a while because it's a big moment or a big fucking celebration, fair play. That's actually good because we know that we can't do that. So we have a problem, yeah? Not everyone has a problem. But if it ruins like you for 3 or 4 days after and riddles you with anxiety and I just think, what's the fucking point? And if you need to have a drink the next day and shit like that, maybe you still don't drink as much as us. Maybe you only had 7 gin and tonics that night. But if you still are thinking about having a drink the next day, not really functioning, are you?
7 gin and tonics, though, like that. I think to me that would have been what I would have drunk when I was sick of beer. You know, I'd be drinking pints or bottles of beer all afternoon, and I think, oh, I can't, my stomach can't take all this gas anymore. So I'm just going to drink either. For me, it was either gin or whiskey, and gin would culminate in tears. But it would be 7 gin and tonics, like it would be like, or 4 massive ones. That would make me cry and sad, or it'd be whiskey, and that would make me aggressive and not violent, but on the verge. So I don't know, just the quantities that you and I talk about are frightening, really. But there'll be so many that recognise it. We weren't alone.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of people on sober Instagram, let's say, that are evening drinkers, and that will let's bust the myth. If you drink every day, you're an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Okay, because if you drink, the older I get and the more I look into alcohol and what it is and what damage it does, and this is partly since you and I became mates and started this, and since I started Sober and Sound, the reality of alcohol in the last 8 months since I started this project has blown my fucking mind. I wish I'd known all this shit 20 years ago, because I wouldn't, well, I probably would have carried on like that, but I'd have been more scared of the consequences long term.
Yeah.
You know, poison. You're drinking poison, and you need a couple of poisons every day after work to take the edge off. You might not drink 16 beers at the weekend on Saturday and Sunday and go out on Thursday night and need a drink on Monday and not go to work, but you still need a couple of poisons after work to settle your nerves, settle your anxiety. And if that's the case, maybe you're an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Maybe you're on the milder end of the spectrum, but there's a dependency. There's a need to use that as a coping mechanism. That is a problem.
And
And if you don't think it's a problem, it is.
and I'm guessing, well, I'm not guessing. I know that the reason why you're so passionate about it and you'll say it like that is because you genuinely care, because you know how fucking bad and miserable that life is. The reason for these podcasts and this episode in particular, because it does sound like a bit of a dig out, or I can imagine people to perceive it as a dig out. And look at them, they're fucking sober, they think they're fucking all sorted out. We're far from perfect. Well, I know I'm far from fucking perfect. I've got loads of flaws, as everyone has. But the reason why you'll go in on that is because you know how much better people's lives can be. And that feeling of like of worrying about shit and having to have a drink to soothe it makes you feel so fucking weak and powerless. Like you're not letting your brain deal with fucking anything. You're using some poison to try and sort everything out, which is madness.
Yeah, and ultimately, I think people that do that know it's delaying tactics, isn't it? It's brushing it under the carpet tactics.
Yeah. And that volcano will fucking explode, mate.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but I found myself, I wasn't actually surprised that when I did get sober. No, I was surprised. When I got sober, I was surprised at how resilient I could be and how mentally tough I was. But when I look back on it now, it's no wonder, because the mental toughness you need to live with alcoholism is something. Do you not think? To be able to keep coming back for more and keep taking the emotional pounding that it hands out, you need, if you're not going to, go down the darkest route, you need a reserve of resilience to cope with alcoholism.
The come downs, like that feeling of when you've just done a whole weekend or you've hit it hard from Thursday all the way through to Sunday. That feeling on Monday or Sunday evening when it's starting to wear off. Where in my case, I would have done loads of fucking gear, and my body would be absolutely ruined from smashing it every weekend, week after week for years. That feeling on a Monday to Wednesday is fucking grim. So yeah, if you can get through that, yeah, you are fucking resilient.
I think so.
But then you're also not, because you had to have a drink.
Very good point. Yeah, it's a weird double-edged sword, isn't it? It's very strange. I think yeah, you're not strong enough to admit or recognize the signs, but you're strong enough to keep taking the pounding. It's weird.
It's the reason why it's weird is because it's the cause and the cure at the same time. So there can't be many things out there in life that will temporarily cure something but also make it a lot worse. I think that's why it's such a head fuck.
Yeah.
Especially if you've got anxiety, man. Like if you've got anxiety or stress. Anxiety, you can honestly feel like you're gonna fucking die. If you have a panic attack, it's scary as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
I've gone to hospital with it after I went away, watched England against Russia in Marseille, and I come back where
Bloody hell, that was wild, that wasn't it?
yeah, it was wild.
Is that when the Russians had the GoPros while they were kicking fuck out of everyone?
Yeah, mate, yeah. But I thought I was hard as fuck for some reason in an Oasis bar with all the English, thinking I was one of the fucking boys. So I was like, yeah, fucking, let's go, da 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 da. Mate, when I got back, I woke up at my mum's house in a pool of sweat, and everything just hit me like a bus. I didn't know who I was. Honestly, I don't know what the fuck it was, but it wasn't a hangover. My heart rate was going through the roof. I couldn't stay still. I had to walk to Frimley Park Hospital, and I was like, something's happening to me. Literally, something is fucking happening to me. And I was like, right, just take a seat. And I was like, I can't. It's funny now, but at the time it weren't. And how I got through that, I will never fucking know, because I thought I was dead. And that's just withdrawing, isn't it, from booze?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the poison having its way with you, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Blood pressure was through the roof.
The thing is, I think what you said about people maybe it being a bit sore, feeling a bit sore with some of the things we say, that's why we're here. Because we needed what you and I needed, I think, when we were both 25, was you and me now.
Yeah.
You and me needed two lads who had somehow gotten themselves out of the mire, who were prepared to speak hard hitting truths and not give a shit who calls them out on it. And how many times do we get called out, you and me? Almost never. I get called out a little on my personal account, which we discussed last week, but that's just because I'm a bit more. I caught it, and some of the things I say are a bit like, and I know how I come across. Some people might look at it and go, "You fucking prick." I get that, but I don't think we're like that when we're together when we talk. I think people think, "Oh shit, that touched a nerve," and these, well, the people feel free to tell us the opposite, but I think we're nerve touchers, which is good.
The reason why I do it is because, and I'm sure it's similar to you. The reason why we speak like this is because my life was an absolute tatters. Literally, it was fucking awful, and my whole DNA, think how lucky we are, yeah, to have the life that we live. We don't live in a fucking war-torn country or anything like that. We've got friends, family, but my life was so fucking sad because of booze. And in all honesty, it wasn't even worth living, to be honest with you, a lot of the time. And that's the truth.
Yeah, relate to that hard.
So to feel like I can just eliminate one thing, which I didn't think was a problem, and transform my life, my thought processes, be happier and enjoy life, is incredible. So it's literally a second chance of life. It's like fucking rebirth. So for other people to experience that, and I know people who have done the same thing, feel the exact same way. Why not try and normalise that and try and fucking help people realise that there is a lot more to life?
Yeah,
that's what we're trying to
do. Yeah. I think that's noted and appreciated. I think when you're honest about your own plight, your own previous plight, and you're very frank with its delivery, it does hit home and it helps. It does help people. We put up a slightly longer reel the other day on Sober Stretch, didn't we? About 3-minute job, and got messages off the back of that saying that really helped me. Because it helped me lose the pity party. If we can help one person lose the pity party every week, wow.
I've done it.
Yeah, because what is the go-to? You're right about this. You're strong but not strong. It's like, the pity party. You just wallow in it and keep drinking.
Oh, mate.
But you're strong enough to cope with the continuous drinking, but you're not strong enough to snap yourself out of the pity party.
The victim mentality. Oh, but you don't understand. I've had this, and this. All right. Why fucking make it worse for yourself?
Yeah. I mean,
so Functioning alcoholic, true or false?
But if someone is a quote functioning alcoholic, and they have enough of their life together that it maybe outweighs the massive problem that drinking is, how can they improve? Like, what? How does someone recognize the signs that they? When does someone go from I've not got a problem because I've got a good job and blah 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 to suddenly going, do you know what? I probably should just admit that this is out of my control.
Yeah. I just think if you can, firstly, if you can go without it, if you can have a drink or go without it, if you can stop exactly when you want, not be persuaded by anyone, go home when you want, have no effect on your health, your relationships, your job, then I don't think you need to change. I think if you can literally have a healthy relationship with it, then fair fucking play. In it, in a weird way, I probably wish that I could as well, because it's never going to take any control over your life. However, when it has any negative impact, if it's breaking down your marriage, shit like that, then you've obviously got a problem. I don't think your missus is just going to make up that for she's not just going to make that up for a load of bollocks, is she? Do you know what I mean? But as soon as it has any negative impact, I think it's time to think about it and either tone it down if you can, or sack it off completely.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's bringing you more negative than good, fucking definitely time to go.
Well, that's a good thing. I did when I first, because I went down the AA route at the beginning and read the big book and decided, I can't remember what the steps are, we've said that before, but when I started writing down lists of the good and the bad, let's be honest. You've been to 3 AA meetings, you've not had a drink for 6 days, you've read the big book, you've got a few weeks off before you go back to work. Get a pen and paper down, Gary, and let's write some shit out. So I did, and I wrote down how it was good for me and how it was bad for me.
The pros and cons, yeah.
How it positively affected my life and how it negatively affects my life. And there wasn't enough ink in the pen to do the negative, impact side. So write it down.
Yeah.
Write it down. The power of write. How's your journaling going? Have you been doing it?
Yeah, I have been. More so like a fucking tick list, so I get more shit done, because otherwise things can be forgotten. I'm quite like that. ADHD or not, or whatever.
Yeah.
But I do find it fucking weird writing your emotions down on a bit of paper, I gotta say. Sometimes I think, cool, am I losing the plot? Do you know what I mean? But it probably is helpful, but it's not gonna be like an instant thing. It would be interesting to read from the start to now to see the progress, because I do feel like it is affecting me in a positive way, because there's science in it, isn't there?
Yeah, and it's about discomfort as well, isn't it? It's not comfortable to write your thoughts down sometimes and see what you actually, you can go through your day as you're walking down the street and interacting with people, and the thoughts, they're so fleeting, and other ones jump across other ones, and some thoughts come and go. They come so quickly, and then you get interrupted. But when you actually write it down and reread it, it can make for some very uncomfortable reading.
Yeah. See, I've not reread anything yet.
Well, maybe that's good. Maybe you just blur it onto paper and then you go back and read it, further down the line. But it has to be better than not writing it out. But I found a list of pros and cons of alcohol in my life. I remember writing that. I even remember the cafe and where I was sitting. Vivid memory. And I remember I was thinking about a particular person, like a mate, a lad that I used to live with, because I felt like I'd done him dirty, just with my behaviour. I remember writing that list and thinking, you can't drink again. This list is a sign that it's done, mate.
What were the pros?
I don't know. It gives me confidence to talk to girls in bars. I'm better I'm better at karaoke when I've had 6 pints.
Yeah.
When I've had 5 to 8 pints and I'm in a darts competition, there's a chance I could win. Like, nothing of significance, nothing of meaning.
So really, it gives you a false confidence.
False confidence, false this, false that, false, 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 false.
It's a big cover up.
Masky, mask, 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 mask. Fuck you. Lies to myself, more lies to myself.
Yeah.
Like, come on, you're an intelligent person. You're in your 30s now. Work it out, dickhead. Write it down and just read it and apply it to your fucking life because you're an alcoholic. And do you know what I've done since that day? I've not had a drink.
I wish you kept it.
Do you know what? I probably got it somewhere. I don't know. My life, when I lived in Spain, I used to jettison so much shit just so I could move. I'd live somewhere for 18 months and I'd acquire some stuff and think, right, I've got to move next week. And I'd just get rid of half of it. So I don't know if it's in a bin in northern Spain. I don't know, but if anyone reads it, if anyone's found it and read it,
mate, someone might have found it, got a load of copies printed, and fucking it might be going global, mate.
Mate, who knows? But when I remember writing stuff down, felt very uncomfortable. Very.
Yeah.
But there is you can't face it without feeling, edgy and uncomfortable. It's just the way it is.
I'm just trying to think of positives. I can't.
No.
I really can't. I think as soon as you get over that, do you know the only thing, which isn't a negative, but it's people's perception of you, because I feel like people feel a certain way about you when you say that you're teetotal or you don't drink. I feel that, and I know why, because if someone said to me that they didn't drink, I'd be like, you boring bastard, what the fuck, why don't you drink? And you miss out on a few things because you don't drink and you choose not to go there, but in hindsight it's a good thing. So it's neither a negative or a positive, really, is it?
The longer I've been sober, the more confidently I tell people I'm not drinking or I don't drink. And what I mean by that is, at the beginning, I would tell people I'm not drinking at the moment because I'm trying to stay sober. I would go hard with telling anyone that came into my life. I was just like, oh, fuck it, I'm just going to tell everyone because then there's accountability everywhere.
Yeah.
But and it was almost like, oh, the poor bastard, he's got a real problem. And then as time passed, I became the person I should have been. And I'm a confident person, outgoing, like naturally. I'm not shy at all, really. And I would tell people with such pride and confidence, and I still do that I think people thought, and people have said it to me like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Almost like alcohol's a fucking joke, mate. You don't need that shit in your life. I'm not preachy. I don't think I'm like that. Each their own. You go and wreck your life on poison, whatever. But that's a joke, everyone. But I don't know. I just felt like I emanated the good of sobriety.
Yeah.
And I felt like telling people that I was sober, it had an impact on them. And it must be the case because I don't know how many friends since I started SoberNSound have messaged me and have tried to address or think about their drinking. I'm talking about good friends. I'm talking at least 15, 20 of my friends from my past that I don't see now, but I'm still in touch with. And, it's had an impact. So what am I trying to say? I'm not trying to suck my own member, but you do get to a point where you're just so proud of it and you're so confident in your sobriety that you just, this is me.
Yeah.
I ain't missing out on shit.
No,
you're missing out by being hanging in bed all weekend. And I get it, and I understand your plight. Here to help. I'm not judging you because I've been there. And oh my God, have I been there to the extreme? So I can't judge you because I did everything you're doing, probably 10 times worse. So I get it, but stick with us. You'll get there.
Yeah, I get that, mate. 100%. 100%. It's Helping people and raising awareness.
And also just helping people raising awareness, but raising awareness in their own head, not just of the subject. Oh yeah, maybe I did that, or maybe I do that, or maybe I do have a problem, and it's okay to have a problem.
Yeah, of course it is. If you do something about it.
If you do something about it, yeah. It's intense, man.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah, it's fucking intense.
Yeah, man.
But
Yeah.
like, I don't know whichever person won the Olympic weightlifting gold medal recently in Paris didn't win that because it was an easy journey to get there. They didn't not experience pain and exhaustion and suffering and agony and self-doubt, did they? But they kept going, and then they got a gold medal out of it. You know, it's the same. The same can be applied to getting sober.
100%.
You just got to understand it will be tough, but it will be rewarding.
You can't just stay comfortable. You can't just, if you know that something is dragging you down, whatever the fuck it may be, but you stick with it just because it makes you feel comfortable in the moment, it's got to go.
Mm-hmm.
Because
So functioning alcoholic, it's a bit of a myth, isn't it?
yeah, I think so, mate.
Well, do you know what? We'll end on this because I remember a couple of weeks ago I watched one of your reels, and or it might have been a story where you pulled out the bottom drawer of a filing cabinet at work, and
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
there's a kind of cellar in there.
bro. I'd have stashes, mate. I would have secret stashes.
Functioning because you had a pair of shoes on and a pair of trousers and a shirt and a belt.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
and you were in the office, so you don't have a problem.
I reckon I was worried at that point because there was only one tin left.
Yeah, not worried that there was a tin there.
No.
Yeah.
I was already thinking, shit, what am I going to do when this runs out? But yeah, nah. Function alcoholic, I have no idea. Yeah, I couldn't function.
No, yeah, it's a myth, people. It's a myth. Take a look at yourselves in the nicest possible way. Are you getting through life, or are you owning life? I think that's the difference. Are you
Yeah.
safe?
Agree.
Nice one. Well, we are at the Sober Stretch on Instagram. You can also find us on YouTube and Spotify. We're now 20 episodes in, mate. It's good, man.
That's crazy.
Can you imagine doing 20 of something consecutively with regularity when you were drinking, apart from pints or nights out?
I'd be cancelling on you every 2 fucking seconds.
Yeah, same, man. Same. But the thing is, would have been like, oh, I can't today. Yeah, me neither, bro. Oh, sweet. Yes, neither can he.
I probably wouldn't even tell you. I'd have to have a few drinks to plug up the courage to tell you.
Yeah, man. Feel it. I am at SoberNSound, sober letter N sound on Instagram. All things sobriety and alcoholism related, bit tub thumping motivational stuff. Where can people find you, Craig?
At livewithoutlimits_coaching on Instagram. And that is exercise, fitness, health, instead of drinking and drugs.
Yeah. What an upgrade.
Yeah.
Right, we've done 20 episodes. We have mentioned it before, but I think we are going to really put it out there. We're going to have some guests, or at least try and get some guests on. I think we're only really getting started with this, aren't we? I know it's all in our bedrooms from opposite ends of the country. Well, no, opposite ends of the south. But yeah, we've got a lot more to come, and thank you for staying with us.
We're very similar, me and you, and our drinking and shit like that was almost identical. So to get other people on here who was a different kind of drinker or has different experiences, someone else might be able to relate a little bit more. So we'll get a variation.
Yeah.
Guests.
Experts, people at different stages, ages, whatever. We'll be getting to it, won't we?
Maybe a couple of females instead of
blokes just banging on about United.
Yeah,
being pricks when they're pissed. Sound. All right,
could
mate.
be.
Cross your fingers for today that we don't get pumped.
We will. I'll
Yeah,
give
we
you a
will.
message when we're 3-0 down.
See you later. Take
Catch
care.
you later. Bye bye.
Ciao. Bye.